mouth set to get things ready to roll here, folks. And then down on pit lane, we're about to fire things up. Down on pit lane, joining us here for the command to fire engines, one of our students from the Discount Tire STEM program from Gadsden State Community College to give the command.
Drivers, start your engines!
Woo! So we got some other guys from the Discount Tire STEM program here with us. Great to have them here from Gadsden State Community College, a new program that we have alongside Discount Tire. Really thrilled to be working with them. Again, we welcome those students from Gadsden State Community College. Guests today all day here for the Discount Tire STEM program, which takes place at every one of our race markets throughout the year with our in-school STEM program and an immersive at-track experience. Great to have them. We did a bit of a track tour, a pit tour, met a couple of drivers and looked at the cars earlier today. So, again, excited to be working with Discount Tire. And be sure to visit the Discount Tire booth in the Gear Up Your Career Job Fair, taking place Friday through Sunday in the Fan Zone to learn more about career opportunities with the nation's largest pit crew. Again, big shout out to the Discount Tire STEM students, all part of a group here from Gadsden State Community College. Field rolling off, and we're getting set to go, folks. Almost time to go racing here for USF Juniors, and excited to get it rolling. This should be a fantastic day of competition. 2 races for you today. One right now, we're going to go green in just a couple of minutes when they get some warm-up laps in. After that, we're back at it again. We'll have the green flag at about 4:15 this afternoon. Doubleheader for the drivers in USF Juniors, anywhere from 14 to actually 13. You can be 13 years of age in this category as long as you turn 14 during the racing season. Hudson Schwartz, just 13 years of age, coming out of top-level karting. We'll continue to do some karting throughout the year, but making that transition from karting into cars. And we're seeing a lot of drivers. Our official racing school, the Skip Barber Racing School, is having their Formula Series race this weekend as well down at NOLA Motorsports Park. So a number of drivers in that Skip Barber program gunning for a $100,000 scholarship to come here to USF Juniors in 2024. And again, that's the biggest part of this USF Pro Championships presented by Cooper Tires, is the $1.3 million worth of scholarships that will be passed on to the champions of those series moving into 2024. So drivers onto the racetrack behind the pace car. Their first opportunity to get around this track. It has been evolving, obviously, since they hit the track yesterday for a couple of 1-hour test sessions. We did a 30-minute official practice session yesterday afternoon and capped off the day with a short 20-minute qualifier. And then the driver up top was able to take full advantage of that, and that is Nicholas Giaffoni, the Brazilian in the number 19 machine. Very strong. He and his D-Force Racing crew, 1, 2, 3. And then as well, Brady Golan, the rookie driver for them, back in the 10th spot. So good qualifying effort for all the D-Force drivers. The quartet looking strong. Of course, a trio up front. Here they come, folks, out of turn number 15, 16, and 17. Time to go racing. First time around, your first race of the weekend here at Barber Motorsports Park. They're lining things up and looking good, and we are green, green, green. Flag flying. They'll roll into turn number 1. The downhill shot into turn number 1. Drivers giving each other room thus far. Will they get through cleanly? They do, indeed. Up through turn number 2, and then they'll drop themselves into the Alabama roller coaster. One driver around. Someone looping. It might have been Pipe Duraza who went around. We'll see if he's able to refire and get himself going again. But a driver potentially around into turn number 2. They'll come through the Alabama roller coaster. Now up into turn 5 for the first time. Down to Charlotte's Web. Downhill. And it's literally downhill all the way to the apex before you start climbing back up. So the opening lap in, underway as they work their way out of that corner. Down into the, I think, turn 6 to the 7-8 combination. It's downhill, right, left, right combo, up over top of the curbing there. And drivers looking good here on the opening lap. Not sure whether or not Pedraza came. No, we do have the double yellows issue in turn 1 at the start. I believe that driver potentially stuck up in the gravel trap of turn number 1. Not the start we were looking for, but not a huge wreck. Just one driver potential contact from the back. Either that or just looped it, rolling into turn number 2. So full course yellow coming out early here in USF Juniors as Giaffoni taking the early lead from his pole position. I'd expect we'll get right back at it here momentarily. It shouldn't take long for the AMR safety crew to get the driver who is in turn number 1 out of the way. Make that turn 2. That's back at the top of the hill. They were clean through 1, but coming back up the hill, yeah, there's that driver who had gone off. Thinking it might be Pedraza No, in fact, it's the 29 of Hudson Schwartz, the rookie driver in his debut. Getting backwards into one. They're going to have to drag him out of that car. Yeah, he is beached in the gravel there. Did the best. I think you can see how much he's kind of dug himself down into the gravel. They did the best he could to potentially work his way in there. Field will stream by the inside as the crew looking to pull him out of the gravel trap. Again, 2 races for USF Juniors on the day. We're back at it again with a 4:15 green flag this afternoon to cap off the doubleheader. We're only on track here on Thursday and Friday. We'll let the Indy Next and IndyCar drivers take the Formula Car reins from there. Again, just getting the toe strap hooked up here for Hudson Schwartz. We'll get him drugged back out here. So let's have a look here potentially at the replay of what might have happened coming through that 1-2-3 combination. As again, drivers everybody always fighting for position, right? Through one, you're trying to leave room, coming back up the hill. Here's the shot coming back up the hill, down to the inside. And yeah, I think potential contact there, maybe just as they were transitioning through, might have been some contact from the nose of Carson Eder onto the gearbox of the 29 Hudson Schwartz. Not quite sure. Looks like we have a driver off down in turn number 5 as well. So a couple of different incidents on this opening lap. Down into 5, we have a driver off. And again, the AMR safety crew going to work for them down there. Again, pulling another car back out of the grass. And remember, folks, we had a bunch of rain here yesterday. So off track is going to be slippery. It's going to be deep, too. The moisture into the grass there has made it tough. Looks to be potentially the number 92. That might be Jack Jeffers, indeed. Jack Jeffers, who started in 4th, had an issue on the opening circuit. He has gone in, and he's the driver who went off in the grass. Not sure exactly what that was, but wow. Tough one there for Jack Jeffers, who had started up front. So Jeffers and Schwartz, the 2 drivers involved in the early incident. Luckily, we've got lots of room here in terms of time. A 40-minute window for the drivers here to get those 20 laps in. Again, coming back around, we'll put lap number 2 in the books now. Nicholas Giaffoni able to get out of the gate as the leader. Quinn Armstrong into 2nd, Lucas Facuri in 3rd. Ethan Ho started 5th, takes advantage of the incident with Jeffers to move to 4th. Joey Brienza up to 5th. Eric Schouten started 9th spot and Schouten up into 6th, so a 3-position improvement for Schouten on the opening lap. Max Taylor started 8th, he's now 7th. Jimmy Lockhart into the 8th spot. 9th is Ethan Barker, who started 12th, so Barker getting a couple spots here early. Pipa Pedraza as well, making his debut in that number 55, driver to Bogota, Colombia. Pedraza, the reigning NACAM F4 champion down in Mexico. Thrilled to have him as part of the program. Ram Racing buying 2 of the Tatis JR23 race cars in the offseason. They weren't able to make it to Sebring, but we expect them to be with us for many years now as part of the USF Juniors family. It's great to have the whole crew here from Ram Racing. Brady Goal in 11th, Carson Eder in 12th, Giovanni Cabrera in 13th, and Jack Jeffers and Hudson Schwartz, I believe, will come back around. Tough one for both those drivers. I think they both may have lost a lap as well. So, again, not much you can do at that point. It looks like, in fact, they've got a front wing, I think, out for Jeffers from the exclusive Autosport team. So, yeah, looking at Jeffers as he comes down pit lane here. Jeffers' car doesn't look that bad. There could be lower wing damage as he brings that number 92 Corpay machine into pit lane. I love the color on that race car. Metallic raspberry, they call it. I think it looks fantastic. And again, Jack Jeffers is a young driver. We're looking forward to watching him develop throughout the year. This kid has a ton of talent, I'll tell you. Jeffers out of San Antonio, Texas. We have a number of Texans in the field this year. I want to say 4 drivers potentially from Texas as part of the program this year. Indeed, Ethan Barker, Brady Golan, Jack Jeffers. There's one other driver as well from Texas. We have a number of Texans. Even up into USF 2000, we have a number of Texans as well. Joey Brienza coming into the weekend here as the point leader. We started things off on the final weekend of March at Sebring, where we had all 3 rungs of the USF Pro Championships presented by Cooper Tires on track. Brienza finished 2nd in the first 2 races. The initial win went to D-Force Racing's Quinn Armstrong, the driver out of Australia. Now 4th in points. He went 1st, 5th, 10th for Armstrong. Giaffoni won race number 2 at Sebring, and then Brienza capping off a strong weekend with a win in round number 3. 7-point lead for Brienza, driver out of Golden, Colorado, over Giaffoni, the Brazilian. Jack Jeffers, 10 points back in 3rd spot, 12 points back for Quinn Armstrong, 15 points back for Jimmy Lockhart. That's your top 5 in points. Brienza, Giaffoni, Jeffers, Armstrong, and Lockhart. Well, I'll tell you, we were worried, I think, potentially about getting some wet weather throughout the day here on Friday, but it is blue skies with some clouds. The sun is out. Gorgeous day right now, 68 degrees ambient. Again, great to see some people here on a Friday finding themselves some shade around the racetrack. We know the spectator areas are going to fill up throughout the weekend. We do say hello to those of you who are tuned in to the USF Pro Championships app, or potentially on usfjuniors.com or the USF Pro Championships YouTube channel. I know we have, of course, an international field. I mentioned a lot of people from Texas, a lot of drivers from Texas, but 3 drivers from Brazil as well. We talked about Pedraza from Colombia, so and I think, of course, Quinn Armstrong from Australia. So a number of, we expect people watching from around the world. Let's put it that way. South America, down in Australia. And we have some race fans up in Canada, of course, all over the United States as well. So again, great to have everybody dialed in with us here. So hoping to go back to green this time by. We'll see if it all plays out for us here. They've got everything cleaned up. Again, trouble, as we said, the issues for Jack Jeffers and Hudson Schwartz. Jeffers still in pit lane right now. I'm not sure if they've let him roll off yet. No, Jeffers still on pit lane. Field working its way out, folks, and we're back to green flag race, and we're rolling back down into turn number 1. It is D-Force 1, 2, 3. Giaffoni, Armstrong, and Facuri. Jeffers still on pit lane. I'm not sure if there's potential hold there for him. I was being told that there was also potentially a review for the incident between the 29 of Schwartz and the 57 of Carson Etter, so we'll see whether or not something comes down from that. Otherwise, drivers first time into turn number 5, and let's see who gets aggressive. That is Joey Brienza trying the outside. Brienza thinking the outside on Ethan Ho there. That's 4th and 5th, good battle there. Same goes on for 6th and 7th. Good scrap there between Eric Schouten and Max Taylor as they come through that Charlotte's Web turn 5, the downhill left-hand hairpin. How about 3 wide coming up to 7 and 8? That doesn't work. Someone's going to have to secede the position. Down the inside goes. Schouten's going to get potentially shoved to the outside, but no. He gets enough of a run. If you're on the inside there of turn number 8, the left-hander that leads back down onto the kind of the back straightaway, you got so much wheel into the car that you can't get back on that throttle. It's kind of a downhill off camber a little bit. When you get on the wheel, it's just going to push the car wide. So you have to be smart on the inside, and that driver, I believe, may have been Ethan Barker or might have been Jimmy Lockhart, kind of backed out of that a little bit. Crucial part of the racetrack coming out of 8 because it leads onto that back straightaway. A couple of chicanes, the left-right chicanes coming down the back chute. The 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 combination. Giaffoni looking to back up that win from Sebring. 0.6 of a second now on Armstrong. We'll see the championship battle potentially tighten up. There's a good fight there. You can see that black and red machine of Joey Brienza trying to go after Ethan Ho. Does he get a good run this time? Looks to the inside of turn number 5. Here comes Brienza to the bottom of the racetrack. They'll go side by side through the corner. Ho trying to run the outside. They'll come out. They're side by side, and they'll hold it. Ethan Ho holding the spot. The kink of 6. And they may be side by side again. Ethan Ho on the inside of 7. Wow, putting on a show. Ethan Ho holding to the outside. That has allowed Jimmy Lockhart to close back up. Lockhart in that number 30, or rather 48 for VRD Racing. Right there now on Brienza. That's a good fight. Look at that, top 3 drivers, 4th, 5th, 6th as the D-Force drivers, 1, 2, 3, trying to lock out the podium. Here goes Brienza to the inside again. Brienza pushing hard to find a way by. Give you a full field rundown when they get back across start finish. Back up through turn number 15, 16, and 17. Giaffoni across the line. Quinn Armstrong running in that second spot. Third is Fakuri, fourth Ho, fifth is Brienza, sixth is Lockhart, seventh Schouten. Brienza actually by Ethan Ho, so move Brienza up to P4. Does he have anything out for Lucas Fakuri to close up? So indeed, Brienza's gone to fourth, Ho fifth, sixth is Lockhart, seventh is Schouten, eighth is Taylor, ninth right behind him, the 12 of Barker. Pedraza runs now in 10th, Golan 11th, Cabrera 12th, Carson Eder 13th, and Hudson Schwartz and Jack Jeffers. Jeffers still on pit lane, so it must have been more damage for the car of Jack Jeffers. So tough for him, coming in P3 in points, 2 podiums, in fact 3 top 5s at Sebring for Jack Jeffers. This is one of the ones you got to put behind you. You go back in, you look over your teammates' data, you come back out in race number 2 this afternoon, and you drop the hammer. Trying to get that podium that you're looking for. He showed good speed throughout the weekend. Look at them lining up here in USF Juniors, coming through that very quick part of that racetrack, that 11-12 combo. Yeah, these guys are lining up nicely. This is some good racing so far. Leaders checking out a little bit, no doubt. We got ourselves a battle further back. Key right now is to look at the lap times between Joey Brienza and Lucas Fakuri. Does Brienza have the pace to potentially work his way up? Last time by, almost 2/10 quicker, but he's 1.4 back. Still a long way to go, though. 13 laps remaining, 7 in the books. Brienza looks like he has the speed. Now, both Giafoni and Armstrong check it out, though, because they both turned 126.6s. Fakuri 127.3, Brienza 127.2. Barker closing up on Lockhart as well. First, there's second, third rather, fourth. And there's Ho, fifth. Schouten, Taylor, Lockhart, Barker, Pedraza. Again, good opening weekend for Pipe Duraza, the Colombian, as we know. First time here on the program, first time he's ever raced at Barber Motorsports Park for Ram Racing, their first event as well. They've done testing, but their first time here, going through all the procedures, being part of the paddock for this USF Juniors program. So a pretty big learning curve for Ram Racing, but we're thrilled to have him here. And Pedraza, I think, is the driver we'll be watching throughout this year. Again, the NACAM F4 champion from 2023. 22 rather. Quinn Armstrong digging. Trying to see if he can't get himself back to the top of the box as well. 0.8 of a second the gap between first and second. Brienza just a little bit quicker than Fakuri that last time. Not enough to really make any dent in the gap, but Giafoni and Armstrong pushing. What's the next fight coming back up the hill out of the Alabama roller coaster? Oh, here's one a little further back here. Potential move to the inside. Lockhart looking to the inside of Taylor. He'll go down the bottom of the racetrack. Lockhart, let it wash out a little bit. Book it, he's through. Jimmy Lockhart with the move to the inside of Taylor. Move Lockhart into P7. That's your classic Barber Motorsports Park Turn 5 pass. One of the key points, and we'll bring this up in terms of breaking into turn number 5, the difference between the USF Juniors car and the USF 2000 car, even the Pro 2000 car that we have in the USF Pro Championships, it's the same carbon tub. The car itself is the same car for all 3 levels of the program. For USF Juniors and USF 2000, very similar cars, the same engine, the same tires, same aerodynamic package, but the brakes are different on the USF Juniors cars, so they don't brake quite as efficiently. It's a longer braking zone, and when you're doing a downhill brake, right, it's an even longer braking zone. If the braking zone's uphill, it compresses that zone. When it's a longer run downhill, so even a longer braking zone. So that's really the passing opportunity, is to be the better driver on the brakes coming down into turn number 5. And you'll watch Lockhart leverage that nicely coming into the bottom of that corner, taking the apex, drifting a little bit wide to make sure Taylor stayed on the outside. That was the issue for Brienza earlier in the race, where he didn't let the car drift out a little bit because Ho had got enough of a break into the corner where he was able to hold the outside. We'll go to the crossed halfway flags next time by a 20-lapper. We had a bit of a stoppage in play on the opening lap of the race as we had a driver make potential contact up in turn number 2. It saw Hudson Schwartz go around. Hudson continuing to circulate here, but a couple laps back. Schwartz went around in turn number 2, got beached in the gravel. We had to go yellow, but quickly able to get that car back on the track. Only lost a couple of laps and lots of time still in a 40-minute window. Gorgeous day here at Barber Motorsports Park. Temperature working its way up to 70 degrees. Could get to a high of 75. 75 and sunny. That's pretty much Chamber of Commerce perfect. And we're thrilled. Now, granted, we had an opportunity yesterday in the first couple of test sessions for the drivers here in USF Juniors. It was raining. It was hardcore wet. And that's, although we love the drivers to be able to race in the dry, you know, they need time. This series is all about driver development, so they need that time in the wet. So that session, as wet as it was with all the rooster tails and the limited visibility, was so good for the development of these drivers, a great educational tool. And I think most of them, a majority of them, I think, kind of reveled in it, getting a chance to be out there to see what it's like to drive in the wet. Like the fact that they're able to get out here and they'll race in the dry, that's for sure. Again, continuing to watch this fight up front to see whether or not Quinn Armstrong can cut into the gap. He's been just nibbling away at a 1/10 of a second here, 1/10 of a second there. Remember, it was over 8/10 a couple of laps ago. It's now down to 0.76. So Quinn Armstrong, the young Aussie, pushing hard in the 16, trying to close up on Giafoni. So you got, what, the Brazilian leading the way right now in Giafoni. You got the Aussie of Armstrong running in second, another Brazilian for Facuri in third. So all international 1, 2, 3 right now. Then the Americans running 4th and 5th with Joey Brienza and Ethan Ho. Best run we've seen at Eric Schoten, I believe, as well. He was 8th in race number 3 at Sebring, currently running at 6th. So Schoten, who is being coached by a driver that racers will know, especially if you're in the IndyCar program or even Trans Am these days. Rafael Matos, a former multi-time junior Formula Car Series champion. He won the old Star Mazda Championship. He won the Atlantic Championship. He won Indy Lights as well. And obviously, he's been winning a ton of Trans Am races. Did some time in the IndyCar program as well. Good to have Rafael Matos back in our paddock, and he is the driver coach for young Eric Schoten. Giafoni, Armstrong, Facuri, Brienza, Ho, the top 5. Schouten, Lockhart, Taylor, Barker, and Pedraza, top 10. 9 laps remaining in the first of 2 races for USF Juniors. Folks, meet the next generation on their way to a career in IndyCar. The USF Juniors autograph session will take place today at 1:45 in the concessions tent over in the fan zone. It's right after the NTT IndyCar Series autograph session, exactly the same location. So get your autograph from the IndyCar drivers, but hold on, wait, because the future stars of the NTT IndyCar Series will be there as well. All the drivers you're seeing on the racetrack right now will be at the autograph session at 1:45 this afternoon. I mentioned earlier that the Skip Barber Racing School is the official racing school of the USF Pro Championships, and they're inviting drivers to compete for $500,000 in prizes, including a $100,000 scholarship for the series champion to enter USF Juniors in 2024. And I mentioned Skip Barber Formula Car School racing at NOLA Motorsports Park this weekend. We'll keep kind of an eye on those drivers because those are the racers that we're going to see in USF Juniors next year. One of those racers being Sebastian Weldon, that second-generation driver. Of course, his father, the late, great Dan Weldon. Sebastian's been working his way up the karting ranks, running against guys like Caleb Gaffera in that program as well, a top young karter. Townsend Bell's son, Jackson, a race winner at their opening round, which happened a few weeks ago at Road Atlanta. So you got Jackson Bell. As I said, you've got Sebastian Weldon, Caleb Gaffera. There's a lot of really talented drivers in the Skip Barber Racing School Formula Car Series we'll be watching throughout this weekend to see how they do down at NOLA Motorsports Park. We're thrilled to be working with Skip Barber, I'll tell you that. What a great program. How many guys in IndyCar came through that old, the Skip Barber Formula Racing Series? I remember watching those tremendous races with so many guys that are now stars, like Joseph Newgarden, Connor Daly, Patrick Long, Gabby Chavez, Connor De Felipe. Man, there were so many great drivers, Sage Karam, that came up through that program. Giafoni's lead now up to almost a full second. He has put it down, start stretching it out a little bit. Even though Quinn Armstrong's turning his fastest laps, Giafoni turned his quickest on lap 11, the fastest lap of the race, at 1:26.257. He's here laying down track records. The first time we've been here with this new car, this Tatis JR23. In the opening season of USF Juniors last year, we ran the Ligier F4 car. Brand new race car here, high end. We got the halo on it for the extra protection. The same car that you would run in USF 2000. So we're laying down new records here. Nicholas Giafoni already with a new track record that he laid down in qualifying, now looking for the race record as well. 1:26.257. That gap between third and fourth, we talk about it. Joey Brienza, he is 100% chipping away. It's down to less than 9/10 of a second. There are 7 laps remaining. Can Brienza close up on Lucas Fakuri? That's the battle we'll be watching here. Can he get close enough to potentially make that pass? That would be 4 straight podiums as well for Brienza. And he would be the only driver that has done that to start the season, because Giafoni was 4th in the opening round, so wasn't on the podium, but was a top 5. Jeffers had 2 third-place finishes, then was 5th. So only 3 drivers have been on the podium more than twice. So if Brienza can get up there, the Colorado can get to P3, before straight podiums. And again, limit the bleeding right now with two of his primary championship contenders, Giafoni and Armstrong, who are 2nd and 4th in the points, now running 1-2. Brienza quicker by another 1/10 of a second. He's just knocking him down. Fakuri actually put a good lap in there, stretched it out a bit. You know they're on the radio saying, dude, you got to go. Brienza's coming. D-Force crew will be on the radio telling Lucas about the gap back to Brienza. Let's maintain this gap. Giafoni's lead now 1.6 seconds. Yeah, he laid down, wow. So the fastest lap for Quinn Armstrong was a 1:26.3 a couple laps ago, lap 12. He did a 1:26.8, so he's about a half a second off. Giafoni went the other direction. He just went fastest. A purple lap, as we call it. He went P1 in lap times. 1:26 flat. He was 8/10 quicker on that last lap. Giafoni, very impressive here, looking to get his 2nd win of the season. Omni, the sponsor on the side of that, JR23 for Nicholas Giafoni. His father, of course, former IndyCar driver Felipe Giafoni. I get asked that a lot. I get messages. Is that Felipe's son? Indeed it is. Fantastic young man. Great to have him in the paddock. And Brazilian F4. Now jumping into this USF Pro Championships. And those of you who maybe have been here for the last number of years at the Barber Motorsports Park event, and you wonder what the USF Pro Championships is, it's essentially the new name for the Road to Indy. We rebadged it in the offseason. It used to be the Road to Indy, presented by Cooper Tires. Now the USF Pro Championships, presented by Cooper Tires. Last time by, Brienza getting another 2/10 of a second, closing up as we have ourselves a fight. Another scrap as well, outside there as well, as Jimmy Lockhart has closed up on Ethan Ho. We may have a fight as well for P5. Ho running 5th, just turned his fastest lap, at Lockhart's pushing him. Watch these drivers, they come down through here. Leader through that initial chicane coming onto the back straightaway, turns 9 and 10. I had a chance to go for a track walk with the D-Force crew on Wednesday evening, and they talked about how where you have to place the car and where you have, what kind of brake pressure you need coming in, when you want to be back to flat. You want the car flat coming through those corners when you can, because that'll settle it, plant that rear end. If you're tentative on that, you could lose the rear end through those very quick corners, those left-right switchbacks. Giafoni back across the line again, puts lap 15 in the books. Brienza trying to push hard now. He is definitely closing. He's to the point right now the draft is going to start to come into play. This last time by, we'll have a look at lap time. A 1:27.2 for Fakuri, 1:26.8 for Brienza. He's got to within a half a second. First and second look locked and loaded for Nicholas Giafoni and Quinn Armstrong, but I don't think we're done yet for P3. Brienza up on the wheel. Point leader in the UBS exclusive Autosport machine that number 91 for Brienza out of Golden, Colorado. Head down. Fight continuing further back as well. Good scrap here between the 18 of Brady Golan and the number 55 of Pipe Duraza. It's D-Force versus Ram Racing. The debut of Pedraza, and lots to come from this young Colombian. Again, champion last year in the NACAM F4 Series. Brienza's pushing. Laps winding away, though, as Lucas Facuri, the Brazilian, in the number 17, looking for his best career USF Juniors finish. Best of the season so far, 6th place in round number 1 at Sebring. Facuri looking to get on the podium. Same goes for the fight further back I talked about between Golan and Pedraza. Brienza's gap pretty much the same. It was .555 last time by. We'll wait for live timing to update with 3 laps remaining. 3 to go. .526, made up 300s. That's not enough. Again, out of the gate, Brienza with 3 podium finishes, a couple of second place runs, and a win in race number 3. P4 would be solid still, although he wants that 3rd spot. Again, remember, folks, we're back at it again this afternoon. 4:15 green flag for USF Juniors and their 2nd race of this doubleheader. Take the opportunity to shout out to VP Racing Fuels, the exclusive fuel supplier for all 3 levels of the USF Pro Championships. In 2021, VP expanded their role and are the official lubricant and coolant as well. In addition to VP Racing Engine Oil and VP Gear Oil, this includes VP Racing's new line of Stay Frosty Performance Engine Coolants. Great to have VP Racing, of course, one of the most trusted names in performance fuels. Great to have them with us. Not only fuel, engine oil, gear oil, but engine coolants as well. I mentioned that we have over $1.6 million on offer this year in prize money and awards. 1.3 just in the scholarship program as well, the discount tire driver development scholarship program. Yeah, Discount Tire is the official tire retailer of the USF Pro Championships presented by Cooper Tires. And I'll take this opportunity to mention as well the autograph session one more time as we're coming down to the final couple of laps here. 1:45 over in the fan zone in the concessions tent, the same place that the IndyCar drivers will be for their autograph session. Right after IndyCar, we'll have our autograph session for USF Juniors. So you get an opportunity to meet the drivers in IndyCar, get a chance to meet the future stars. This is when you can start developing following a driver, right? Can you imagine if you were to follow drivers like Joseph Newgarden and David Malukas and Renus VK and Kyle Kirkwood and Colton Herta back when they were running in the USF Pro Championships? This is the chance to do it now. Get over there and grab some hero cards, some autograph cards, and get a chance to meet these young pilots. 2 laps to go. It's a 3.3-second lead for Nicholas Giaffone. Jimmy Lockhart able to get by Ethan Ho, so Lockhart finished 3rd in race number 3 at Sebring, working his way up into the 5th spot now. Good run for the VRD Racing driver. The gap between 3rd and 4th down to less than a half a second now. White flag flying though this time by. 1 to go for Giaffone to get back his 2nd win of the season. 3 different winners to start the season. Giaffone looking to be the first driver to win 2. Brienza is closing again. But can he get it done? Can he be close enough? For Curry trying to hold him off for a D-Force 1, 2, 3. Final lap. The battle would be in turn 5 if Brienza can get close enough. Not sure there's another place to pass. Otherwise, I don't think he is near close enough. He can lunge it down the bottom. He needed a couple of more laps. He got it still within a half a second. Brienza deep on the brakes into turn number 5, trying to get the car to rotate. Facuri doing a great job. 2nd year in the USF Juniors program for Lucas Facuri. Also ran down in the FR Oceania Series, one of our partner programs down in New Zealand. They have a fantastic series, a 5-week program in January and February each season. We've seen a number of drivers do well there and then come and run in this USF Pro Championships. But it's a final lap right now for Giaffone. He has been absolutely perfect on the weekend thus far. Pole for both races, has so far led green to checker. Max points potentially here for Giafoni as he's working his way through the final couple of corners out of 17. And a great way to start the weekend here at Barber Motorsports Park. The winner of race 1 in USF Juniors is Nicholas Giafoni. D-Force winning race number 1. And it will be a D-Force 1, 2, 3 as Giafoni wins. Armstrong second, Fakuri third. But with Brienza right there by just 0.2 of a second on the final circuit. Great lap there on the final lap for Brienza to push Fakuri, but he came up just short. Nicholas Giafoni ends up with the victory. Quinn Armstrong in second, Lucas Fakuri in third, Joey Brienza up in fourth. Jimmy Lockhart able to get by Ethan Ho in the late going. He goes to P5. Ho holds on for sixth. Max Taylor seventh, Eric Schouten in eighth. Ethan Barker ninth, and Brady Golan rounds out the top 10. Pipe Pedraza, Carson Eder, Giovanni Cabrera, Hudson Schwartz, and Jack Jeffers cap off the field of 15. Once again, folks, we're back at it again this afternoon for a 4:15 green flag. But we're not done here yet. We got some celebrations to do. We're going to head down to Victory Lane. We'll see the D-Force 1, 2, 3. It will be all blue and white in Victory Lane after this race. Giafoni with the win. Armstrong in second. Lucas Fakuri coming in third. Again, still lots of racing coming up here at Barber Motorsports Park. All part of the Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst. At the present Lucas with his trophy, we have DJ Adams to help us out here. Thank you, DJ. Awesome stuff. Well done for Lucas Fakuri, battling, of course, with Joey Brienza. That race long, it was a scrap for sure. Coming home in second spot, one of our winners from Sebring. We have ourselves a great championship battle just starting to brew. Again, a D-Force 1, 2, 3, finishing second, Quinn Armstrong. And to present Quinn with his trophy, again, from Gadsden State Community College, Andre Ramp. Thanks, Andre. Great job for Quinn Armstrong. Well, there's going to be all the same suits up here, folks, because what a weekend it's been so far for D-Force Racing. They, come out with a strong run. This driver on the pole for both races, walked away with the win here today. Put your hands together, the victor in USF Juniors, Nicholas Giafoni. I'll do it now. Listen, we did this in Sebring. You got to win there as well, but man, things are going really good for you. Talk about the racetrack first. How was it compared to how it was yesterday?
Well, in the morning it was a bit better. The car felt a bit different because of the conditions. But D-Force did a great setup for us. I mean, 1, 2, 3 it's not something easy to get. So I think it's pretty special what we've done here. Still got one to go. But I loved Barber. I mean, this track already has my heart. I hope I can come back soon.
Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Nicholas Giafoni, folks, winning today. Let's bring that trophy up. To present him with the trophy, Travis Anderson with the P1 trophy, his second of the season so far for Nicholas Giafoni. And yeah, D-Force Racing 1, 2, 3. Challenged aggressively at the end by Joey Brienza for that third spot. But they are looking good here right now. We'll do it again this afternoon. Green flag at 4:15 for USF Juniors. Make sure we get all the pictures we need taken here. Get those trophies up in the air. First podium of the year for Lucas Fakuri. Second win for Giafoni. Let's bring those discount tire hats in as well. Of course, doing the hat dance down here. Our first race, actually the first overall race on the whole weekend. Lots of wheel-to-wheel competition, of course, still to come. Porsche Sprint Challenge, Blue Marble Radical Cup, Indy next, IndyCar. Great weekend here. Beautiful blue skies, too. Perfect weather for today's action. Let's bring all our guys in here from Gadsden State Community College. STEM Day here, presented by Discount Tire. All part of the USF Pro Championships. Discount Tire, the official distributor and the official tire provider for the USF Pro Championships. A tire retailer, I'll get that right. Great program to get these guys from Gadsden State Community College just enjoy themselves. They've got a bunch of tours lined up, meeting some engineers, race control, you name it. So as we do, we'll wrap things up. We'll get those discount tire hats back, I think. We'll go the winning hats back on, top 3 hats back on. Then we'll bring that champagne back out. So once again, folks, great way to start off the weekend worth of competition with USF Juniors, the very first rung of the USF Pro Championships presented by Cooper Tires. These are the future stars of the NTT IndyCar Series. Their autograph session at 1:45 this afternoon, right after IndyCar. All right, guys, you're going to wear those suits again. Grip it and rip it. Let's go. Celebrate the first action. Nicely done. D-Force Racing. That'll be a photo op that they're going to use for sure on social media. It's a D-Force 1, 2, 3. Nicholas Giaffoni, another victory. Quinn Armstrong in second. And for the first time in his short USF Juniors career, Lucas Facuri on the podium as well. One Aussie and a couple Brazilians, all part of this international field. Folks, once again, USF Juniors back on the racetrack at 4:15 this afternoon for a green flag. Autograph session at 1:45 right after the IndyCar autograph session over in the fan zone. So once you're getting your autographs from the IndyCar drivers, don't go anywhere. You get the IndyCar guys first, hang around for the future stars of that program. Again, folks, thank you so much. Those of you tuning in live here on USF Pro Championships TV, we appreciate it. Again, a big win for Nicholas Giaffoni, his second of the season. Thanks for tuning in, folks. My name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.